Good morning, guys. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am. You're not. How you doing? What are you doing? I'm not hungry, so I could show you maybe something I made a couple days ago, like a great BLT. And now that I say that, I'm thinking BLT. Hey, guys. So I'm hoping that I can put some videos out today. I'd like to stay in the mind of putting videos out today, as well as on the other channel. I do want to put some videos out there as well. Guys, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. We're going to have a little bit of coffee and tea with Gypsy. So now we know Ken had a little bit of a problem. I can appreciate that. I had a little bit of a problem too, like that, when I was in my 20s. And it lasted for a few years. Excuse me. And then I moved away. so, and then that, and people, places, and things. I moved away. And I just have never messed with it again, and I don't want to mess with it again. So hopefully that's where Ken's at, but I don't know, because if I would have gotten as many times pulled over with drinking and driving, I probably would have given up alcohol too, which clearly Ken has not, and he does have two or three DUIs under his belt. I think he pled to something a little different, but he has a drug problem. He has an alcohol problem. He has a problem, period. He has a problem. And how much Gypsy has added to the current problem and how much he's added to the current problem. But guys, I wanted to talk to you really about a few things. I'm going to dig into the latest things that the girls read Into the Weeds podcast in 1980. I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. But also, there's a few things that I want to dig into that I found this week that I just haven't had time to do. So I am going to do that. I'm hoping to get a lot of videos out today on this channel, like I said, and on the other channel. But guys, I've never felt bad for Gypsy. Never felt bad for Gypsy. But, and, I do feel bad for the position that Rod put her in with the last reading, where Rod was making Gypsy his confidant, his person to hold the dirty secrets. When you hold secrets like that, that's not good for you, not even Gypsy. And it's not fair to put your kid in that position. Now this has come out, and now Mia knows that Gypsy worked with their dad against the mother, Mia's mother. How is Gypsy supposed to ever win that situation that her dad put her in? She was trying to build a relationship with her dad, and Rod took advantage of that by giving her. She's supposed to be in prison reflecting on a crime that she did, making personal growth, carrying your dirty secrets, Rod. That's not what a dad does. You could have spoke to one of your boys on the fishing trips that you go to, or out at sea when you go to work, whatever the fuck, but it didn't have to be your kid who absolutely had issues. Because she's in there for second degree murder of her mom. But let's just throw more on her. Again, I'm not siding, I'm not sticking up for Gypsy, but that was wrong. That was wrong. And if it was anybody's name but Gypsy, I believe you guys would be like, that's not right. And I believe a lot of you are like, yeah, even though it was Gypsy, that's not right. That's not right. Okay? So Rod comes out now and he's like, well, Dee Dee was horrible and she was so abusive and da 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 da. That's abuse, what you did to your daughter when she was incarcerated, by having her hold your dirty little secrets, because all she wants is to build this relationship with her dad. And you know that, and this is how you take advantage of that. It wasn't anything like, oh dear this or oh dear that. It was all about what you could gain and what you could get from your kid. And that's sad. Even if it's Gypsy, that to me is sad. Maybe that does explain why Gypsy is so effed up in the head. But I have to say, there's a lot of people that have been, you know, mentally and emotionally and even physically abused by their dad or their mom. And they come out and make changes for the better, right? Gypsy didn't do that. And I don't know if she was acting like this is why she can disrespect her stepmom. Rod gave her permission to disrespect his wife, her stepmom, in the house that she was living in while she was getting off parole. I like how does that work? Of course there's no real love towards Christy when it comes from Gypsy. Why would there be? Why would there be? You, Rod, raised a whole other family with this woman and didn't leave them except to go to work. You left Gypsy. You know, you left Gypsy. So all of these things that are coming out in these phone calls, they do give us a glimpse to things. And unfortunately, they're not things that we want to see. You know, things that would be like, oh, well, you know, there's no compassion in that situation except to Gypsy. And who wants to give Gypsy compassion when it comes to bold-faced lies about her mom? Just horrible, bold-faced lies about her mom. So I am going to dig into this. I think that this is like really interesting. And it seems to me like, again, you know, Gypsy has... why Gypsy picked Ken, you know, we love who we love. We can't change who we love. But, you know, I don't think Ken's problem has gone anywhere. He is so reckless. He's reckless with the baby, with the speeding. He's very flippant. He doesn't show any kind of real depth to him, in my opinion. And yeah, he's just annoying. Annoying, and seems very annoyed by everything in life, which really is yeah, that's not a good sign either. Let me just put that out there. That's not a good sign either. Anyway, guys, I wanted to show up for you with 7 o'clock coffee, and I hope that, you know, you guys enjoyed this video. I do want to put a lot of videos out today and do some catch up, and I also want to go on the other channel as well. So thank you, and thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. Please like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate you, and be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.